My question is, with everything that you've experienced in life up to this point, if you could go back in time and tell your younger selves a life lesson that you've learned, what would you tell them?
Buy Bitcoin.
I am buying cryptocurrency. I am buying cryptocurrency. Fire is cracked, they just keep printing it, it's gonna crash. That's what they are hinting, it's time to jump to an economy. So I'm buying cryptocurrency, yeah, I'm buying cryptocurrency.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an excellent day today. Bitcoin is actually holding strong while a lot of the altcoins are actually seeing the red today. XRP, specifically after the SEC announcement, is particularly in the red. So what is happening? Well, this morning, oddly enough, I was actually awake at like 5 a.m. this morning. I couldn't sleep, and I actually watched Bitcoin dip all the way down to about $22,800. And it instantly got bought back up. In fact, it skyrocketed all the way up to over 24,000. And right now we are sitting sort of at that neutral level. But that is not what I want to talk about today. There is something that happened to Bitcoin, something incredible that I just realized has not happened since March of 2017. And it could honestly be one of the most bullish things I have seen for Bitcoin in a long time. And as far as the altcoins go, should they be worried? Is the XRP news trickling into the altcoins as well, potentially? I do want to talk about that, but I also want to discuss why investors need to start changing their mind, shifting their mind on Bitcoin. It's not 2017 anymore. We are not in as much of the wild, wild west as far as Bitcoin as we used to be. And here's something interesting just to consider. What if even at this $24,000 level, after breaking an all-time high, after 11 years of existence, Bitcoin is still only in the early innovator stage? What if you and I and everybody else watching and owning Bitcoin right now are still unbelievably early? Well, I'm going to talk about that today because there could potentially be so much more upside to Bitcoin. And if you don't believe the liquidity crisis is real, I have more evidence again in today's video to show you that it is certainly real and Bitcoin could go a lot higher than most people can even imagine potentially. So we're going to talk about all that today. If that sounds good to you, you know what to do. If you are not subscribed, certainly consider it. We make these videos every single day. And without further ado, I do have to make today's video a little bit quick because I need to help my girlfriend clean up the house because we were having family over for the holidays. So having a look at what's going on in the charts right here, look at the fact that Bitcoin has actually bounced between these two major resistance levels. And look at this, zooming in, we have started to put in an uptrend. We've had 1, 2, and now 3 bounces. Of course, we're still having to get above this hurdle right here. We have a lot of resistance overhead. This is the Bitcoin all-time high. We hit the $24,300 mark. We obviously, as we go higher and higher and higher, we keep you see people taking profits, you see people selling, but, as much as everybody keeps trying to sell, you keep seeing the dips getting bought. Now, it does look like we might be forming a bit of an ascending triangle. This is the top right here. Ascending triangles are technically bullish, right? Whereas descending triangles are bearish. Now, there is always the potential chance that we could be putting in somewhat of a head and shoulders pattern. I have seen that theory as well, which would indicate a breakdown. If that was the case, we might get stomped out here at this previous resistance, or I don't believe we'll honestly go lower than pretty much the 20K level. We might dip down into $19,000, but as we have seen, every single dip that continues to happen for Bitcoin, the institutions just keep buying it up. Now, keep in mind, over here on futures, this is the 3rd time that we have hit the top of the ascending broadening wedge. Obviously, if we continue to hit this without success of breaking through, we are going to have that retracement. So, as I said, once again, even if we were to come back down here, retest any of these bottom levels, you're still only looking at $20,000. So imagine the Bitcoin pullback being 20K, whereas we had anticipated the 20K breakthrough for how many years now? Not too bad, guys, not too bad. Times are looking really good ahead. Here's just another zoom in close up of essentially what is going on. But here is the biggest news for Bitcoin yet, and we cannot ignore this. We must talk about this. So Bitcoin dominance has finally broken out of a downtrend that started around March 20th of 2017. You can see right here, we had a little bit of a bounce, and we took a massive plummet, right? And not only have we gotten above the major resistance here, it doesn't really matter how you draw the line. I've drawn 3 different resistances. We literally just broke above all of them. And not only did we break above the major diagonal resistance, but we also broke above the major horizontal resistance that we had right here. We tried twice to break out in 2017. We got above it briefly in 2019. Then again, it acted as resistance again in November of this year. And currently right now, no matter how you slice it, dice it, no matter how you draw your lines, no matter what chart you are looking at, Bitcoin just broke out of its downtrend for dominance. So what does this mean for altcoins? Well, we've actually seen altcoins potentially having a double top here. Now, I'm not saying that this is bad for all altcoins. There's always going to be altcoins that are going to outperform Bitcoin short term. But is it possible that maybe the XRP scare had something to do with what's going on right now? Could be. Before we jump to conclusions, let's analyze that. But you cannot deny that this is incredibly bullish for Bitcoin. We have not been above this downtrend, like I said, since March of 2017, and the horizontal level that we're looking to beat next is around the 73.5%. Now, having a look at what is going on, now here's the interesting thing with the XRP situation. According to data shared by Santiment, the amount of wallets holding 10 million XRP or more, about $500,000, depending on when, whatever the price is right now, they have started to dump their coins. Since the news of the SEC officially suing the crypto behemoth, Ripple they call them, the number of XRP wallets has dropped by 18. The number of small XRP wallets, however, has remained the same. So you're seeing a lot of the smaller holders of XRP, maybe it's the XRP army, they believe they're holding, but the bigger whales are starting to dump, guys, and we know that these whales can move the market. So having a look down here, now the founder and CEO of XRP, he believes that the SEC is damaging millions of users and investors rather than XRP being an unlicensed security, as the regulator refers to see it, reminding the community this is happening as Bitcoin is hitting an all-time high. Coinbase is going for an IPO, so he thinks it's a bit of a coincidence, right? Coincidence that these guys are doing this right now. But regardless of what you think is going on, whether you think it's a conspiracy theory or whatever is happening right now, we need to look at what is going on, because you can see right here, XRP is down in 24 hours, 31%, my goodness. In the past 7 days, 28%. So where has some of the money in the top flowed? Well, it hasn't gone to Tether. If we have a look at Tether market cap, although yes, you could argue that the Tether market cap has increased, slightly from barely. What has it gone up? About, right here. So maybe about 400 million, here in the past couple days. But for the most part, you could do the simple math just by looking at this. Negative 28% here. You have plus 22% on the 7-day for Bitcoin, 3.7% for Ethereum. So it looks like Bitcoin and Ethereum have absorbed the majority of the move, with Bitcoin probably absorbing the most of it. So maybe some of these investors are jumping into things like Bitcoin and Ethereum. That is one way that you can look at it. But something else you need to consider, and it is unfortunate about the XRP situation, like I said, a lot of people making fun of people for holding XRP. I'm not personally a huge XRP fan. I'll be the first person to admit that, but I don't have a problem with people that like it. To each his own. I'm more of a Bitcoin guy, but having a look right here, you can see 12,000 Bitcoin flowed out from Coinbase a few hours ago, and like Young Ju said, it went to custody. That basically what they do is after these OTC sales, they usually move it into these custody-based wallets. So he says he is very bullish on Bitcoin. And if you want to talk about the liquidity crisis at hand, how about this? Kevin Rook says bad news for bears. Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust just added over 12,300 Bitcoin in a single day. That is more than the 11,500 Bitcoin that they added during all of last week when Bitcoin hit an all-time high. They added more in one day than they did completely last week. How can you tell me that there is not a demand crisis happening right now? Just to break it down in the simplest form, that green bar represents Bitcoin mined in one day, and that red bar represents how much Grayscale bought in one day. There is not enough supply for the demand. And this is why we are seeing the dips get bought up. And this is why we continue to see Bitcoin price, move and move and move. Yes, we're putting in a sideways pattern. Some people said this could be a giant Bart Simpson. It's possible. Could be, guys. Like I said, we are heading in to Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's. Sometimes we see some lackluster price movement. Could be different. Don't forget, January, lots of people do their taxes, so could be a little bit interesting these next couple months for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. But like Edward Morris said, he actually pointed out Grayscale stopped buying Bitcoin and ETH. And he was like, wait, what's going on? I can only buy XRP, XLM, and ZEC. And then he said, needed time to confirm it, but got some people saying that they are probably oversubscribed right now. The queue to get in and invest takes weeks now. Also, this is a common procedure that Grayscale pauses new deposits to prepare for the next window. Now, according to TradingView manager Pierce Crosby, he suggests that Bitcoin price might remain bullish despite the concerns of a pullback. Most people are anticipating a pullback. They just might not get it. In fact, I was having a conversation on Twitter with Tyler S., and he was saying maybe these are the dips. Maybe these are the new dips, right? We dip like 10, 15%, and then we instantly wick back up. Maybe we're not going to get those 30% crashes anymore. It might be a totally different ball game. So Pierre goes on to say, right now, I see very near-term headwinds for Bitcoin. The performance recently may seem parabolic, but there are no near-term negative events that we expect. This makes for a bullish case on price. And if you don't want to have me tell you, you're tired of hearing K-Dub talk, why don't you hear it directly from Michael Saylor, who explains exactly why this shift is happening and exactly why the price is simply going to continue to go more parabolic as the times continue.
Bitcoin, as you pointed out, is going up more than 100% a year. So the logical thing for every corporation to do is convert their balance sheet from USD to BTC. And the answer to your question is Bitcoin's going to demonetize gold, negative yielding sovereign debt, low yielding sovereign debt, and all of the index funds that are being used as a store of value. There's $100 to $200 trillion worth of stuff there. Like, this thing can go on for quite a while.
It seems like Elon Musk, someone who's well known for being ahead of the curve, is now intrigued by it. You've actually gone on Twitter and social media encouraging them to make a move, and follow up on what he's saying. Do you think he will soon? You think he'll take the dive into Bitcoin?
I can't speak for Elon, but what I can say is that if you've got $20 billion on your balance sheet and you know that you're going to lose 20% of the purchasing power a year and it's going to be cut in half in the next 3 to 4 years, the simple move is convert the 20 billion into Bitcoin, let it double, and double again. As soon as the market figures out what's going on, there's going to be a stampede to follow you. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And a positive feedback loop, and it's a screaming good idea to build shareholder value.
So this is just the beginning, my friends. Hats off to Michael Saylor for leading the way. We are going to continue to see more and more and more of this as time goes by. For example, as I mentioned just 2 days ago, after filing Exemption D with the SEC, Anthony Scaramucci's hedge fund Skybridge Capital has already launched their Bitcoin fund. In an interview with Yahoo Finance, Scaramucci said that the effective registration with the SEC has now been completed, and the fund has started with $25 million of Skybridge's own capital. They will be open to accredited investors starting on January 4th, and the minimum subscription will be $50,000. So this isn't exactly for just everyday average Joes. You got to have $50,000 minimum to get involved in this. And they said that they're looking to democratize the hedge fund industry, and that Bitcoin is still somewhat difficult to buy, I suppose. Maybe it is. Maybe for guys like you and I, everybody in the space, we do it like it's nothing now. But for the average person, maybe there is still somewhat of a barrier. And, like Cole Gardner pointed out, he said, we have reached a critical inflection point in Bitcoin's adoption curve, a moment wholly unique in the history of markets. Are you ready for what comes next? He says this is a perfect storm of demand dynamics that is driving the Bitcoin price. He says, I think something shifted in the market and active investors and traders would do well to adjust their mindsets. I still see people in the crypto space who I'm very good friends with who are still extremely bearish. bearish. It's mind-blowing. Like, they literally cannot get out of the bear market mindset. Guys, change with the times. The trend is your friend. Right now, the trend is up. Look, if we have a major correction, we start putting in lower highs, fine. Then I'll become a short-term bear. But right now, there's nothing that is telling me that we should be worried. Sure, dips are going to happen. Of course, they happen in all markets. But the trend right now is up. The interest is up. The fundamentals are up. Why anyone would be a Bitcoin bear right now is absolutely insane. I really just don't even understand it. You know, and he talks about after years asleep at the wheel, institutional leaders are now jarred awake en masse. Balances on exchanges have been falling. This is the 90-day moving average. You can clearly see that they're buying it, they're taking it off, they're putting it in cold storage, and they're holding it. They'll have to hustle, he says, if they want this asset, compete with the masses, and FOMO in above the all-time highs against a backdrop of scarcity unlike anything they've seen. He says they will buy all dips. Their bots will not stop buying. There isn't enough supply for all of them, and they know it. And the whales who accumulated much lower, how much appetite will strong hands have to market sell just to run stops in the opening hours of the greatest bull market of their lives in a liquidity crisis? This is why the halving was never priced in. This is why Bitcoin goes to 35K, 40K before having a shakeout much worse than anything we've seen before. He says, I'm not going to say we're going to teleport directly to 40K, just small gains. Of course, he says he could be wrong about this, but the scenario would not be unprecedented. The same thing happened in 2017 when Bitcoin broke previous all-time highs after multiple tries. The only difference is this time around, there's a lot bigger interest, there's a lot bigger money, and they are not weak hands. These guys like MicroStrategy are not looking for a quick 5%, 20% flip on Bitcoin. They are looking for it to replace USD on their balance sheets because they do not trust the traditional financial system. Please, change your mind, change your thinking. Not you specifically, but people need to change their mind. This is not what it used to be. Bitcoin is truly becoming what it set out to be, which is the world's hardest money that we've ever seen, right? So that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's kind of quick update. I do have to kind of get going. I know I say quick and we're still up to what, almost like 18 minutes or something, but that's it for me today, guys. I do have a lot to do today. I am hoping I can make videos these next 2 days. I am having a lot of family over. So if I don't see you guys, which I probably will, but, enjoy the rest if you are celebrating. I don't know. There's all different holidays people are celebrating right now. Whatever you're celebrating, I hope you're having an awesome time. Stay safe out there. Obviously, quit refreshing the blockfolio all day. Bitcoin's not going anywhere, so you don't have to worry about that. So thanks again. I love you guys. You're awesome. You're like my family away from my family. In fact, I see you guys more than my family, to be totally honest with you. So that is it for me. My name is K-Dub. This is CryptoZombie. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.